So the next position we're going to talk about is the audio board, or the audio station in the studio. Now it might look scary, but it's really pretty simple when it comes down to what you need to know for the audio mixer. When you first come in, you'll actually have your headset right in here, so you won't need to get one off the wall. You'll simply grab one that's located right here on the bench, and in order to talk to other people in the studio, you'll simply hit the talk button here, which will turn the talk on, and then you can turn your volume up and down using this knob right here as well. To turn this off, you can hold down this power button here, and that'll shut down the system. You have to hold it down until it actually makes a beeping noise to turn off. So let's take a look at the audio mixer here. As the audio mixer, it's your job to make sure the levels are correct on the mixer and in the TriCaster as well. The very basics for setting this up are as follows. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come in, and you're going to want to locate the main mix here on the far right of the board. The main mix is going to want to be up here by the U, and that U is just representative of unity or 0 on audio. Literally, it's a crazy fun way of saying the audio levels should be right about there. So no matter what you're doing, the main mix should always be at unity on your board. The next thing you want to do is these speakers here. You're going to want to make sure that they are powered on. There's a power button behind that one, and there's also a power button behind this speaker as well. If you feel around, you can find the power button. You'll know they're on because there will be that little white light glowing in the front. Once your talent gets their microphones on and the floor manager's got their mics set up, you'll notice what channel the anchors are on based upon these green glowing LED lights. Now whenever an anchor talks, you can tell that yes, they're wearing a microphone and there's some levels coming into the board here. It can be deceiving though, because sometimes anchors can get their microphones picked up from someone sitting next to them. So what you want to do is make sure you do a mic check and actually listen for those anchors to be on the right channel. So what we're going to do is you'll ask the floor manager, hey, what channel is so-and-so on? They'll tell you microphone 4, and you can check here microphone 4. So we'll come down and make sure, yes, in fact, we do have levels for microphone 4. So what we're going to do is we'll bring our mixer up when we ask them to. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go, hey, we want to do a mic check. So we'll say on our headphones, hey, we want to do a mic check for anchor 4 or microphone 4. And the floor manager will tell them to start talking. So the next thing we're going to do is on the mixing board, you're going to come over here to where it says control room. We're going to turn this up just a little bit at first, okay? Then we'll come down here, we'll find channel 4, which is located right here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to move this up to unity. Then, what the important thing is, we're going to unmute this microphone. Now, since I am in the studio, I have a microphone currently on. I actually have microphone 4 on. I'm not going to unmute this because it'll create a feedback loop if I did. So for our purposes, you can just imagine that once we get our anchor out there with the microphone on, make sure that the control room volume, you can see it there on the size of the board, it's actually control room volumes located right here. Make sure that's up. And then down here in microphone 4, you're going to make sure, yes, we have microphone 4 selected. We're going to bring our pot up to make sure that we have some levels coming out of here, and we'll unmute microphone 4. Again, main mix is up, microphone 4 is up, control room volume is on slightly, and we'll unmute microphone 4. If you don't hear your talent, make sure you mess around with this to see if you can find them. If you can't, come over here to the control room and make sure that you need to turn this up a little bit more so you can hear it. Alright, but if you got green lights growing here, that means you in fact have a microphone signal. So the next thing you're going to want to do as the audio mixer is you're going to want to make sure that the TriCaster is actually getting the inputs from the microphones. So here's how you can tell. You'll have to actually ask the director to change tabs. So over here there's a bunch of tabs. You'll ask the director to come over to the audio mixer and select that, and it'll bring up our audio mixer interface in the TriCaster. Now you can see in input 1, I've got some levels there, and if we pan over to the right of the TriCaster, we also have input levels for our master and all of our aux outs inside of the TriCaster. So that's telling me that this microphone is working and we have a decent level. Now if we come up here to the top, you can also see that our program out, or the pretty much what the audience will see, is also getting levels as well. So if we come back down to our mixer, we've got levels in input 1 through all of the outputs and the master, and last but not least the main out here. Now something really important is over on the right hand side. You're going to want to watch the level. And if your level is way up here by the 0, that's way too loud, and you're going to have to ask the anchors to turn that down. So if it's way too loud, you kind of want it between the 0 and -20, which is kind of where it's at right now, and this is a good, strong audio level for your microphone. Any louder is going to be way too loud. Okay, so for the next part of our production here is the audio mixer. While we're in production and we're watching the anchors deliver the announcements, your job is going to be to change which microphone is turned on and which is turned off during the announcements. Now, you don't want to just turn them all on and leave them on, because it'll create a whole lot of excess noise. If any of the other anchors accidentally bumps their microphone, has to readjust, that audio will come in through the board and go out into the final production. So while we have our anchors up talking, you're just going to want to mute and unmute one anchor at a time when it's their turn to talk. This will help reduce the noise on the audio board and in our final production, and it'll also make for a lot cleaner sound when we're finished. Now, if you're feeling lucky, there's some more advanced things that you can use in this audio board. Now, if you come up here to the top, there's these EQs, and they're of course related to each track. So this is mic 1, mic 2, mic 3, mic 4. If you push this EQ button in, you've activated this row of EQs. And EQ is just a fancy way of saying that you can mess around with the highs, the mids, and the lows for your audio signal. So if you want to take, like, maybe someone's got a really high squeaky voice and you want to make that sound a little bassier, you can just come in and move these bass knobs up and maybe move some of these mids up and remove the highs by turning these to the left. Now, this is not the best way to do it, but it's a quick, simple adjustment that will allow you to get a better sound out of your mixing board just by simply pushing this button and toying around with the audio. So when the production is over, as the audio mixer, it's your job to make sure that the board's going to be reset for the next production. So what you're going to want to do is make sure you bring down all the microphone inputs and bring down the main mix on the board, okay? So looking at the board again, the main mix is all the way over on the right. We'll make sure that's off. And over here on the left, you want to make sure all these microphones are down as well. Additionally, when you're finished here, there's a button on the bottom back. It's hard to see here, but hopefully this will be upside down for you. And you can see it's hard to see, but the button's right here. You can push that on the back of the board to turn the mixer off. And then down here, you'll want to turn the power rack off with this power button here on the left-hand side to turn all the microphone receivers and transmitters off. Last but not least, you want to turn off both of these speakers in the room by clicking the button on the back like we did before.